Hey guys, welcome back to the barbecue patio. Today we want to talk about the newly updated Hasty Bake 250 Pro charcoal grill. They've been working behind the scenes on updating this little guy and making some improvements, and we finally got our hands on the new production model and we're excited to test this guy out. So over the past 2, maybe 3 years or so, I can't remember how long it's been now, y'all have seen us use this 250 Pro right here. This guy has traveled all over the country and it has cooked countless meals for us, both here at the house and whenever we're on the road traveling in our RV. And I absolutely love this grill. I love taking it with me. It's nice and portable, small, and it does a great job. You know, you can grill on it, bake on it. Perfect for searing steaks. That's kind of what this guy is known for, is steak cooking. But you can even smoke on these guys too. But it's an awesome little portable grill that I absolutely love having. But I'm really excited for the new model and the updates. You can probably see a little bit of differences right here on the front. And we're gonna go over all that. So the first thing we're gonna do is just talk about the upgrades that they have made on the new updated version here. And we have our original so we can show you the differences. After we do that, we have a steak that's in the fridge that's been dry brining overnight. We're gonna go ahead and do our very first cook on it and cook us a nice big fat ribeye steak. So let's go ahead and get started on showing you what the differences of the two grills are. We'll go ahead and open these guys up so you can see. Now this guy is brand spanking new. It is gorgeous, beautiful. You almost don't even want to cook on this thing because it's like a work of art, right? And while we're talking about this, let's go ahead and mention Hasty Bakes are made in USA in Tulsa, Oklahoma by Hasty Bake. They have been in business, I believe 1948 or 1949. I think it might be on here. It's right here on the tag, since 1948, all right? These guys are made in USA by skilled craftsmen, right? You have guys out there in their factory that are sheet metal workers. They cut all this material out, stainless steel, on their laser cutters. And then they have guys over there working press brakes that are bending this stuff up. They have welders that are spot welding it. They have little TIG welds in here to hold everything together. And it's just it's a very nice piece that is proudly made in the USA, as well as all of their other products. If you look behind us over there, you have the Hasty Bake Legacy 131, also made in USA. You have the Hasty Bake Roughneck Smoker over there, again, made in USA. So it's just a really great company to support, and all of their employees there just are fantastic people. We had the privilege of touring their facility and meeting everyone and seeing the production line and how they actually build these grills. So if you're looking for a high quality grill that's made in USA, Hasty Bake is the way to go, all right? So back to our showing the differences between the older model and the new model. We're gonna start right off by, I'm gonna point this out. So this is a modification that I made myself with this little toggle bolt that I added to it. And the reason why we added this toggle bolt, or I added that, is because when I first got this grill and started using it, I was having trouble with the front lid right here, the opening for the charcoal basket, staying shut. They've got a little tab that's spot welded on here, and it connects to this flange. And I couldn't get it adjusted the way I wanted to. It was either too tight or it was too loose. So I added the toggle bolt there so that I could use that to keep that door shut, all right? The other advantage of this that I found out after the fact was I could prop it open a little bit like that and really flood the charcoal with a lot of oxygen and get those charcoal blazing up and get them really hot, all right? Whenever you close it up, and you use the factory air vents right there, you have another one just like this on the back side, so it flows through like so. There was plenty of times that we were cooking where I felt like I needed more heat. I needed the charcoal to get more hot. And so that's why I would crack this open a little bit to kind of flood the charcoal, and then it would absolutely blaze up. Hasty Bake took notice of this. They saw it. They saw that I'd been using the heck out of this grill, and they saw that I was having a little bit of problems with the airflow, getting it as hot as I want to. Sometimes when you're just grilling on it, you need a little bit more heat. And that's why we made that modification there, to hold the door and to kind of create a little bit more airflow. So they looked at this and they said, let's try to improve the design upon this right here. So what they have done is instead of having just the push latch where it connects to the flange, they've now added the latch, which is the same latch that they use on the Legacy grills on the side door over there where you open up for the charcoal basket. So this is the same latch they use on the other grills. And on top of that, this is a new feature that they've added, that they've designed too. You have these high heat resistant rubber covers that go over the handle, so that you can touch this whenever it gets hot. Let's go ahead and stick that back on there. So this is a really great benefit right here, because like over on the Legacy, you have to put a glove on when you want to open up that door if you're trying to add charcoal or smoke wood. All right, so this is a great benefit right there. You can also notice the big difference is the air vents. They call these shark fin vents, and it's named, it suits it right? It looks like a shark fin. But they claim that this is going to provide a better airflow to the charcoal with these two vents. This is supposed to increase the CFM, the amount of air that's getting through there. And we also have the same style on the back of the grill too. So let's just walk around to the back of the grill right here, and you guys can see the difference here. So you have your two shark fin vents on the back there. Here's the original, the first one we have, and you have the flap there with the 5 holes. So they're saying that this is going to provide more oxygen, more air through there to help keep those charcoals nice and hot. So we're going to put it to the test and see how they work. Let's go back around to the front and revisit the front side and see what some of the other differences are between the old unit and the new version. Let's show you some more of the updated features on the 250 Pro. And actually, let's just start with the outside first, then we're going to work to the inside. The original 250 Pro, the legs, whenever they would ship this to you, the legs would come unattached, and you have these screws that hold that on. All right, nothing wrong with that. But what they told me was that go into a design where the legs are integrated with the body there, eliminates another step in the manufacturing process. So this actually speeds up their productivity whenever they're manufacturing this grill. So now you have the legs that are attached to the body there, and one less thing to have to worry about in the production line. We're going to open this back up. The top side, everything's the same except for the hinge pin right here. This is just the stop rod that holds the lid open. They've got a piece that's actually laser cut out of stainless steel, and they got a couple roll pins pressed in there to hold that open. The original over here is a round rod that's got like a washer that's tack welded to each end there. So this is one change that they've made right here. As far as the rest of the top, it's all the same, okay? But if you look inside, there's some more differences in here that they've made improvements on. One of the big improvements is the ash pan itself, all right? This thing has hemmed edges, and it's folded over, creates a lot of strength. So this one, you have to put a lot of force in it to try to get it to bend, all right? If we look at the original right here, the original, you got a little bit of flexing that'll do. Now, that does not matter with the functionality of the grill. This does not make a grill or break a grill, all right? But this seems to bother people that this will kind of happen. They even put the brake, I don't know if you can see the X pattern in there. They hit that with the brake to kind of create a little bit of strength there to prevent it from warping. But the fact of the matter is it still warps a little bit. This has never bothered me, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect the performance of the grill. But that's just one of the differences that they made that to try to improve the quality of the ash pan. Hem the edges, it creates a little thicker flange there to help prevent that warping. So we'll see if that actually makes a difference as we start using the grill. Here is the charcoal basket. This is all stainless steel as well. And the big difference here is on the front and the back, you have all of these slots that are laser cut into that to help provide more oxygen air coming up to the charcoal to help create a hotter burn. You can see the original right here does not have those slots. So that's one of the additions that they have made to that. The 250 Pro also comes with this heat deflector right here. Now this is awesome for steak searing, kind of how it was designed for. So it just slides right onto this top shelf right here. And so you have that one dedicated area designed for searing your steak or whatever it is that you're going to be searing on there. And one of the things that they have done, this is based off of other people's feedback. I'm sure it's the steak grilling community that have kind of given Hasty Bake feedback. They have lowered this shelf down 3/4 of an inch. If you look over here, this flange is up higher than it is over here. And I believe that's because the guys that are using this for steak competition, the guys and the gals, should I say, I believe they like to put the charcoal basket up on this upper shelf and get it closer to the cooking grate. And apparently they said that it's a little bit too high, creating too much heat. Maybe the lower one's a little bit too low for them. But anyway, they made that modification according to the feedback from the steak grilling community. So that's one of the differences right there. I always use the bottom rack right here for my steaks and my searing, and then simply just add the deflector plate in there as well. So while we're talking about this with the heat deflector, so the way that this works really well for cooking a steak, and this is how the competitors use it, you have this grill riser. We'll talk about that in a second. You have your charcoal going, you add your heat deflector, which creates this opening here. This is your hot side, this is your cold side right there. So a 2-zone setup for your grill, hot side and a cold side. You do your grilling over here, you're hot, you're fast, you get your sear done the way you want. You pull your steak off, right? And then you take a cold grate riser right here, you set it over on this side, you set your steak right here, and you close it up and you finish out your steak over here to get it up to that desired temperature that you want, whatever you're looking for, you know, medium rare, medium, whatever. You just let it finish out right there. So that is how this is kind of designed to all work together. This is stainless steel as well. The Pro does come with the steak weight. That's an added benefit when you go to do your sear and you put your steak on and you put the steak weight on there. These are grill grates that they include with the 250 Pro, and they're custom cut to fit the cooking grates on this charcoal grill. If we take these grates out, these are also stainless steel. You can see that they've got the flanges broken up on both sides. When those sit down in there, you can take your grill grates, your aluminum grill grates, and they sit down in that pocket, and it keeps them from sliding forward, you know, back or forward up out of there. So I think that's about it for all of the upgrades and the changes that they have made to this grill. One other thing that I was thinking I would point out is the badge itself. When we bought this, they had the SCA badge on there. I believe they were working with the the SCA as a sponsor, but I believe that has changed. So they went back to one of their original logos here that just says Hasty Bake Charcoal Grills, made in USA since 1948. I love seeing that badge on there. So I think that's it for all of the upgrades that I wanted to go over with everyone and show the differences between the two. I think it's time to get this thing hot and grill a steak. Let's see how it's going to perform, shall we? We're going to go ahead and get some charcoal fired up. So I was going to show you about how much I use typically when I'm cooking a steak. Now, I like using these Weber charcoal chimneys. I keep the large and the small size. And on the large, this is typically what I use. You can see you got these vent holes on the side. Usually what I do is put enough charcoal in there that comes up to this top vent hole. All right. If I'm doing a lot of cooking, we're cooking a bunch of other stuff on there, I'll put more than that in there. But this is more than sufficient for cooking a steak. And I like using my little stove. You don't have to light it this way. It just makes it faster and easier, just using this old Camp Chef stove. You can take these chimneys as well and just set them right down inside there, right inside the 250, and you can use a tumbleweed or whatever you like using to light your charcoal, and it works great. And I do that a lot whenever we're at the campground, but when I have my stove set up, this is how I like lighting my charcoal. I keep Kingsford, B&B, and I even use the Royal Oak there. I like all of them. I like using all of them. I'm constantly trying to determine the differences between each charcoal. I think they each have their advantage, and I just like having all of them here to use. But today it's going to be Kingsford. I was going to point this out. oftentimes I like to just put a piece of aluminum foil in the ash pan there. That just simply helps with cleanup. Sometimes when you're using the grill, you're cooking things that's been marinated. A lot of times when you have something with some sugar in there, it likes to burn and carburize and drip down. So having the aluminum foil just makes for simple cleanup. That's all it is. But having the ash pan like this is one of the benefits of having a Hasty Bake grill. It makes cleanup a breeze. Whenever you're ready to light it up again and you've got some old charcoal in here that needs to get taken out, you can take the basket, shake it, it knocks everything down to the ash pan, slide this out, and you go and you dump it, and you're ready to go again. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a little bit of this duck fat on the grates. I'm gonna go ahead and close it up and just let it start getting hot. This is the steak that we're gonna be cooking today. This is a choice ribeye that Abby picked up for me at Publix. I have salted it, so it's been dry brining overnight for about 16 hours now with my smoked salt. That was something I did the other day. We just made our own smoked salt. So it's been dry brining, and we're gonna go ahead and coat it down with some of this duck fat. So let me just touch on this really briefly. This method that I use for cooking my steaks, I have found it to be very beneficial. It's the way that I personally like doing it. I got a lot of inspiration from Aaron Franklin at Franklin Barbecue on his methods of cooking a steak, which is salting it ahead of time, dry brining it in the fridge, uncovered. I always put it on this cooling rack here so that the air can get underneath it. And what happens when you do that is when you take the steak out of the package, you dry it off, get the moisture off of it. You salt it down with whatever salt you want to use. You put it in the fridge to dry brine it. And what happens is it pulls the moisture out of the meat. And when it does that, it dissolves the salt, and then it sucks the salt back into the meat. So it salts the meat for you. And to me, that is really all you need for a delicious steak after you sear it and cook it, of course. It's a really great method that I love using, and every steak that I have cooked like that has been delicious. And every time I've cooked a steak like that for other people, like our family, they say it's the best tasting steak they've ever had. They can't go to a restaurant and get the same flavor out of it. So that's not me tooting my own horn. That's just me trying to share methods that I have learned along the way that works really well for a delicious steak. I honestly think that's all you need is a good salted piece of meat. If you salt it right before you put it on, the salt doesn't penetrate the meat like it does when you dry brine it. So that's the advantage of doing it overnight. Aaron Franklin recommends that you do it at least 4 hours before you throw that on the charcoal. So that's why I try to do it the day before. I think we're ready to go cook this guy. So we're about 10 minutes into our very first initial burn in. Yep, we're 10 minutes on the clock there, and I want to take a peek at it, and I want to see what the charcoal is looking like, if it's burning nice and hot. And it definitely is. You can see they're glowing red down in there. I can see a lot of good heat. So I think the updated vents and the airflow through here is definitely putting more oxygen to those charcoal. I think that's going to work pretty good. They're definitely glowing red. On the older model here, to get them to glow, I usually had to kind of just open up this little crack right there. So that's just, I'm seeing a difference so far in the charcoal. So we're just about ready to go ahead and start cooking our steak. All right, so let's cook our steak. What we're gonna do is we're gonna sear it first. Then I'm gonna set up the cooling rack to finish it off. It's a nice thick steak, so it's gonna take a little bit of time to get it cooked to the medium rare in the center. Definitely burning nice and hot. I can definitely tell that the updated Hasty Bake is running nice and hot compared to this one over here. Go ahead and give it a flip. So I like the flip often method, maybe about every minute or so, just depends on the fire. It just helps create a nice even sear on both sides, and just move it off once you get it seared the way you want it to look. That's looking beautiful right there.
Smells good.
Oh, it smells great. So the one thing that I forgot to show you guys on this is the steak weight. This guy right here, I just completely forgot to use that, but when you're doing your steak steering, you can put the steak weight on there, and it just helps keep the whole surface of that steak nice and level and flat for a nice even sear in there. Our sear is looking absolutely gorgeous. It is just about ready to take off there. Let's take a look at this guy and see if we're about ready where we want it. That's looking good. That is a beautiful sear. That's going to create a nice crust to bite into when we're eating it. So I'd like to get a little bit more on this fat cap right here, the spinalis. Isn't that beautiful?
Gorgeous.
We're going to go ahead and take it off, because I like the sear on that. And we're going to go ahead and get it set up for 2-zone cooking methods now. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and install, I want to put this heat deflector in there because I want to create a cold zone over here on the right side. We're just going to slide that in like so. And I am going to go ahead and install the grill grates now. And an important thing is, if you're going to use your grate riser right here, keep it cold. So this is just ambient temp. I'm going to go ahead and close this guy up now. And now we take our steak and we're just going to set it right up there like so. So indirect cook. Close up the grill. And we just let it cook, and we'll probe it ever so often, try to get it to that medium rare temp. Let's give this guy a check. I think we're about ready to pull off. It is looking beautiful. I'm going to use my thermopin here and get a reading about right there. $113. I'm going to let it go about another minute or so. So what I'm shooting for is somewhere, once I can probe 115 to 120, I want to pull it off and then let it rest, because it's going to raise about 10 degrees or so, as thick as that steak is. Just give it another minute. While we're waiting on that, I was going to point out that I am definitely seeing a difference in the amount of heat that the updated version of the 250 is putting off. It's really hot in there. So the new design with the shark fin vents right there is definitely letting a lot more oxygen go up in there versus our older model there. Showing about 118 where I probed it there, right about in that spot. So we're going to go ahead and pull it off. We've been resting the steak for 10 minutes. It is looking good. I'm going to go ahead and give it another probe here and see where we came up to. You see that 131 right there near the center? So it should be a good medium rare on that cook right there. I wanted to point out one more time, reiterate, I'm seeing a big difference in this new model of 250 Pro. The additions the modifications they made with the airflow has definitely made a difference. You can see it's just sitting there smoking that fat out of there. It's definitely cooking a lot hotter without having to open up this front lid to get the charcoal up to temp. So I think that the mods that they made to the 250 is actually going to work really well. I'm looking forward to more cooks on this, not just a steak, but a lot of times when we're traveling, we like to cook vegetables in a pan, and sometimes those take a little while because of the you know, the amount of heat that we're getting to the tray. So I am seeing some benefits with the updated model here.
Smells great.
Yes, it does. So we give you guys the half cut and see how we look. Looks good to me.
Gorgeous.
Let's give this guy a taste test, shall we? Flies are coming on around here.
I don't blame him.
Let's try with the fat cap right there. That's so good. I'm telling you, that dry brine. That smoked salt. Yes, sir, it is good. We're gonna take another bite right here because this is the payoff. It's so good. I love a steak. I love a good grilled steak. I love a nicely seared and grilled steak on my Hasty Bake 250 Pro. We're gonna go enjoy the rest of our day. I'm gonna enjoy some more of this steak, and I look forward to some more cooks on the updated Hasty Bake 250 Pro. We'll see you next time. I gotta have another bite of this. Look at that right there.